Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining again. I would like to welcome you now to the innovation pitching session, Government and Citizen Engagement. I'm now happy to introduce you to your moderator of the session, the wonderful Carlos Abler from the US, who is not only WSA board member and expert, but also has been a former winner. Best of luck for the pitches, and thank you to the jury. Over to you, Carlos.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos Abler, and I'm thrilled to be your facilitator for the category of government and citizen engagement today. Today, I'd just like to welcome our jury members, welcome the audience, and above all, thank you so much for being here, all our brilliant innovators. It's such an honor to be able to hear from you today. So today we're going to hear from 4 of our 5 innovators for this category. Our 5th winner, mining and mineral production monitoring solution from Sri Lanka, will be presenting tomorrow. So don't be surprised when there's that extra line that will need to be filled in later. And on that note, I'd just like to remind the jury members to please have your links available and open so that you can vote. So each of the presentations will run for 3 minutes, and then we'll have roughly 4 to 5 minutes for question and answers after that. So everyone who would like to ask a question, please just raise your hand and in the functionality here, and I will queue you up and call upon you to ask your question. So with all that said, let's kick it off. So our first presenter today will be Hoplr from Belgium. Please welcome Hoplr.
Hi. Voila, does my screen share work?
Yes, I can see it.
Perfect. Then let's get ahead. Good afternoon. My name is Yannick Scheerling, founder and CEO of Hoplr. And together with my 2 co-founders, I started Hoplr in 2014. In this presentation, I'm going to show you why local community building is more relevant than ever. COVID-19 pushed a lot of countries in lockdown and introduced social distancing. This caused, of course, a lot of local challenges and side effects. For instance, more isolation brings more anxiety, depression, loneliness. We need to balance even more between work and drive. The elderly need more help with household chores and groceries. And on top of that, there's a high demand for more local volunteers and hyper-local information. And to address these problems, we need to rely on a trusted social network. Today, we connect and communicate globally with friends and like-minded people through social media. But at the same time, we tend to forget about the people with whom we share our very own neighborhood. Hoplr is a private social network for neighborhoods and is available for web, Android, and iOS. More than 500,000 households use Hoplr weekly for circular economy, helping each other with chores, getting to know their neighbors, organizing offline activities, local policy making, and more. And this is exactly what we stand for. By connecting neighbors, Hoplr shifts the focus from the individual to the local community. Hoplr activates the social capital and creates a stronger sense of belonging. How do we do this? Well, Hoplr connects people who have nothing in common except their living location, people with different age, background, culture, language, opinions. This is called the bridging social capital. By unlocking and activating the social capital, Hoplr impacts different social and economic dimensions such as circular economy, sustainability, more involvement, higher participation rate, more inclusive communities, improved well-being, and much more. We have a sustainable business model that is free of advertisement. Local governments pay a yearly license for our service dashboard, which enables them to connect social workers, communicate and inform citizens, to involve citizens in their projects without worrying about community building, technical support, or privacy concerns. Some examples of citizen engagement we already support are like bottom-up ideas, polls, projects, surveys, and much more. Since 2 years, we work together with over 100 municipalities in Belgium and the Netherlands. And in 2020, Hoplr received 3 times international recognition. The Seal of Excellence from the European Commission for Innovation, Implementation and Impact, the World Summit Award in the category of today, Government and Citizen Engagement, the European Social Services Award for Best Social Technology Tool. To reach these milestones, we've built a passionate and dedicated team of 15 people, from UX design and technology to business and social science. Last month, we raised €2 million for further international expansion and the development of a new innovation in community care. I want to conclude my presentation with our manifest of 5 promises that define our unique selling proposition: community first, ad-free, privacy by design, independent, and a strong focus on social impact. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful. Okay, so now we move into the question and answer portion of this. I see that we do have a question from a little initial here I'm seeing is IZ, so I'm not sure who exactly that is. So if you could, whoever IZ is, could you please just go ahead and ask your question?
Hello, it's Yeva from Lithuania. Thank you for your presentation. It was very interesting indeed, and I really like your project. But the big question for me is, how do you attract people to your social network? Because social networks value depends a lot on the number of users, of course. In the initial stage, it can be really a challenge. How do you face it?
That's a good question. We always start by the initiative of a local municipality or local government. And then once we have a collaboration going on, we use, of course, their communication channels. But we also use, in these times, I know, a physical letter in the mailbox, which works very, very, very good to give the right context and the instructions to sign up.
Wonderful. Okay, we have another question from Connor Satterley, it looks like.
Yes, hello, thank you for the pitch. Here we go again. There was a lot said about social impact, quite some big ideals that you have about inclusion and trust and involvement. How do you measure the social impact? What's your sort of key metric on the change that you want to create?
Well, yeah, besides the product metrics, of course, of the product and the data drivenness of retention and acquisition, we also do this social impact analysis. We do this by surveying, a scientific survey every year around these 8 dimensions of the social capital, from trust to network to inclusion. We ask questions and then we see how it progresses in time, every year by year in different neighborhoods, to see if it increases in numbers and in measurements.
Wonderful, wonderful. I have one to follow up on that. So, you mentioned that you have many categories of success and activation and how people are using this platform and, connecting for value. Do you have any particular cases or examples that are emblematic, kind of go-to examples for some of the benefits that have been realized from this? And if in any way that connects back to the data of the previous question, that would also be interesting.
Well, besides the fact that there were a lot of social activities organized before COVID-19, of course, then during COVID-19 there was more like the digital connection that was going on Hoplr, but there was a lot of social activities before that, and I hope soon there will be a lot more. There were also a lot of projects of cities and municipalities, which they actually use the neighborhood network to interact with people and to actually involve them in policy making or in projects like a mobility plan, a vision note, a climate plan. We even do a citizen panel with a representativity with analysis reports. So there's a lot of things coming out of this community building, actually.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for your presentation. It appears there are no other questions at the moment. So best of luck to you, and thank you for this wonderful solution. I see that it's taking off and you're having great success. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so now we're ready to hear from our next innovator, which is for a product called JUDY from Ghana. Please welcome JUDY from Ghana.
Hi, thank you for having me here. Let me try and share my screen immediately. All right. Oh, sorry. Sorry, let me go again. Sorry. Okay, it keeps overlapping. All right. Whoa. So Let me minimize this. Yeah, sure. All right, I don't know if you can see my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Oh, sure. What about now? Are you saying? Oh. Okay, I tried this out actually, and I'm surprised this is happening now. What about now?
Perfect.
Okay,
Excellent.
It's fine now, right?
Yep, perfect.
Oh, so sorry about that mix-up. I actually tried doing this before now. Unfortunately, It happened. All right, great. Good day, everyone. My name is Bright Oleka, and I'm from JUDY. And at JUDY, we simplify legal research. So 1/3 of the world's entire population actually lives in the common law jurisdiction. Now, in legal terms, what this means is that judgments from over 60 countries can be used to argue one's case in a common law courtroom. However, this weight of information has not been harnessed to its true potential by the tools currently available. As such, we've seen two pertinent problems amongst lawyers and legal researchers. And one of them is the time spent while conducting a legal research. This was further proved by the research we conducted 2 years ago by my team that shows that the average lawyer spends between 2 to 3 days while carrying out a legal research task. We felt this is not supposed to be. The other thing we noticed is that these lawyers or legal researchers, they get overwhelmed by the amount of legal documents and materials they have to consume or assimilate in the process of their legal research work. This and much more is the reason why we created JUDY. So JUDY is Africa's first and only legal research platform that connects the entire common law practicing countries, but we're starting with the African common law. There's a saying that says there's strength in numbers. This is further buttressed by the fact that our database consists of over 70,000 cases from Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya, Supreme and Appeal Court. This makes us one of the most robust make us have one of the most robust database of cases in the whole of Africa. And that is not just the only sweet spot to it. Our platform is backed by artificial intelligence, whereby we've been able to make legal research faster and smarter. And this also include our discovery tool that has been able to help us help these research people break down their legal research work from 3 days to less than 3 hours. We've also created a community feature around our product. You can call this the Wikipedia for law. And what this means is that difficult passages of laws is being broken down by legal scholars and enthusiasts into easy to understand piece that even a layman or a common person on the streets could understand their rights and obligations as regards to the law. Our goal is to actually be the most accessed database of common law cases in the world. And our approach of going after the common law practicing countries have seen us have frequent users from these various common law practicing countries. Our target market is actually the over 100,000 lawyers and law students in Nigeria and Ghana. And they have an estimated combined subscription power of about $20 million monthly. Our business model is simple. The basic plan goes for $5 monthly, while our premium plan is $50 monthly. Of course, there are a lot of competitors playing on this same field, but our closest competitor is Law Pavilion. But the difference between us is that they are focused rather on just one jurisdiction, and their products has little or no collaboration feature, which is one of the core products a lawyer or a legal researcher needs to actually perform their work at optimum level. By September of 2021, our goal is to expand our product to Tanzania and South Africa, while the Judges Analytics feature is expected to be rolled out by February of 2022. And these are the faces of the bright minds that are building the next phase of the legal research for the African lawyers. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's just fantastic. So do we have questions from the jury about JUDY? Looks like we have one from Connor. Connor, would you like to please ask your question?
Yes. There are probably quite a lot of people in the audience wondering right now, is the impact of what you're doing just saving lawyers time on their research? How does this improve society that we save lawyers time on legal research?
Okay, sure. Let me, I didn't actually spend so much time to talk about our community feature. I spoke about being the Wikipedia for law. We started that product, or we started that project a few months back, because we noticed we were beginning to have a lot of average user come up on JUDY and asking questions. So cite an example of someone in Lagos, Nigeria, who was wrongfully evicted from his accommodation without any legal process to it. Like, he was wrongfully evicted from his home. And this guy come onto the platform and wants to really know what the position of the law is when it comes to unlawful eviction. So we've noticed this trend about seeing the average person really come on the JUDY to really know what is the position of law about a specific issues they're going. And that was why we felt we needed to create this community feature that I explained earlier, but I didn't actually speak a lot about it. So when we're done with that, when we're done rolling out that product, it will be able to help these average people with these average people who come on JUDY, who are not legal enthusiasts or who know nothing about law, come on the platform and actually see, read up passages about the law in their own term, because the community feature we are building is going to help. We're going to get a lot of scholars break down difficult passages of laws into simple to understand piece that the average person could understand. So it's a product we're building. It's on beta as we speak now, and it will be rolled out in the coming months. So we know that will actually address the issue of these non-legal people coming on the JUDY platform to know the position of law on the issues they are going through. I don't know if I answered your question correctly.
Does that answer the question for you, Connor?
Probably better to go on because there are more questions.
Okay. Eva did have her hand up first. Are you, I'm not sure if you pulled the hand down intentionally or not.
Yes, because my question was answered during answering Connor's question. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, then let's move on to our distinguished juror, Mr. Rudy Ladaga from Mexico.
Thank you, Carlos. My question is with the artificial intelligence component that you have in your product. You know, it's known that when it comes to legal and artificial intelligence, there is some bias, because you're taking data out of the cases that are already being judged. So what are you dealing with? How are you dealing with bias using AI with your product?
So when we started out the product, we had to manually start doing a few things. Like, we had to get lawyers who are manually outlining things like the principles of laws, applying areas of laws that we think will give us some form of data sets. And for the past 2 years, we've been using humans to do that. But we started testing them out early last year, late last year, because we now have a large data set to actually feed our AI with. So we actually started by getting humans to give us insight and give us the data we needed to feed our artificial intelligence. And over time, we've seen the AI being able to adapt effortlessly with the data sets we've been able to feed it with. So with that, we felt we've been able to take away the issues of bias in it, because we did not just started with the AI, we started with humans fixing that before feeding those informations to the AI for insight.
Mr. Deirdine. Hey, Deirdine, how are you?
I think we may need everyone to mute their microphones. It sounds like we're picking up a conversation. Okay, are there any other questions from the jury? Okay, looks good. All right, well, thank you so much for presenting this. And with that, let's move on to our next innovation, which is Easy Laws from Lebanon. Please welcome Easy Laws.
Is it on?
Yes, we see you now. Welcome.
Thank you, Carlos.
Okay, please dive right in.
Of course. Let me share my screen first. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much.
Okay. Marhaba. I would like you all to meet Amna. Amna is one of these girls who was forced to marry her rapist for him to go unpunished. The law 522 was applicable in Lebanon until people understood what it really meant and its consequence on their lives. This led the majority of the society to protest and march against it until finally it was amended. Imagine what would have happened to Amna if that law was still applicable. In Lebanon, studies have shown that 3 out of 4 people had faced legal problems in the past 4 years. 2/3 of them did not get any resolution. Actually, most of these people, when asked why, they replied, "We didn't." This is when Easy Laws came to life. Easy Laws is a unique mobile application and a website that explains the Lebanese laws using a simple language, trying to reach all the layers of the society. We gathered experienced legal researchers and designed a very user-friendly application. We covered so far 380 legal subjects with 6,000 questions and answers. We also added thousands of notes and real-life examples to provide the users with a better understanding of the material. We have as well another interesting feature in the application. Easy Laws allows its users to communicate back through the Ask a Question feature. In fact, this is how we were able to help over 1,200 individuals with their various legal problems. Here, we're somehow popular now. We have around 1 million views on our content and almost 20,000 downloads. Now, you might be all wondering, what can Easy Laws achieve on a larger scale? You see, for some time, Lebanon is suffering from a severe financial collapse, a substantial devaluation of its currency, a corrupted ruling class, and of course, from a huge blast that destroyed our capital. Unfortunately, all this led to a malfunctioning of our legal system. Therefore, the need for Easy Laws becomes vital. We must understand the law and its importance in order to preserve our judicial system, develop it, and reinforce the rule of law. Law and order define our humanity. Providing our community with an easy access to justice might prevent people like Amna from living in injustice. So please take a leap of faith with Easy Laws team and help us achieve a more functional legal system. This was Patricia Sader representing Easy Laws. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patricia. That was really fantastic.
Thank you.
Very, very moving situation there you're trying to address. All right, well, I would like to bring our attention to the jury at the moment and to see who has questions. And once again, our good friend, Mr. Rudy Ladaga, has a question for you.
Thank you, Carlos, and thank you. I really like your project. I was in the one of the jurors that was evaluating your product before it became a winner. And one of the things that I notice is that you have a lot of questions and a lot of people voting to get answers from those questions, but there are very little answers on the website. What is going on with this part?
I can still hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that was not a question. Why you have a lot of questions in the website that haven't been answered, and people are voting, because I was, doing evaluating the site very thorough, and I see that there are a lot of questions that are not answered in the website, and I think that the main purpose of the website is to get answers for the people. So why are there not many answers at the website?
Oh, there may be a delay here. Patricia, are you still with us? Oh, she may have dropped off. Can people still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is she still? Can anyone tell me if she's still connected to us, or did she drop off entirely? I can't see here if. Yeah. Well, maybe what we could do, if there's a long delay here, we could maybe come back and give her a little bit more time to answer the question after our next presentation, if there's too much delay. Why don't we give it another?
Kicked off. She was kicked out of MS Teams, and we can wait if she can join later, but maybe can continue with the next one.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. So with that, we will return to Patricia to give her a chance to respond to some questions in a moment. But for now, let's move on to our fourth and final for this morning presentation for OS City Govstore platform from Mexico. Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Just let me know if you can see my screen, please.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah?
Yep. Okay.
So, hi, my name is Jesus Cepeda. I'm a PhD in artificial intelligence and a young global leader from the World Economic Forum, and I also do as the CEO of OS City. So let me give you a little bit of the context behind OS City. So every single day, according to UN Habitat, 3 million people move into cities. Even during pandemic, smaller cities became stressed because of people traveling there. This makes governments to become inefficient, suffering an increasing crisis of institutional agility, operating slow, and distrust. You can see violence, you can see apathy, you can see people fighting each other and feeling frustrated with how the things happen, willing not to even mess with their governments. But you know what? The government messes with us all. The public sector touches the life of everyone. Imagine what we can do now in numbers, according to McKinsey, $5 trillion US go missing every single year from the public sector. Imagine what we can do now today with that money. 50% constituent dissatisfaction or distrust, divided nations, and 9 out of 10 public servants saying that they don't have the tools to cope with these challenges. And from another perspective, a $400 billion industry called GovTech is emerging to solve these problems. So what we propose is to tap into that opportunity and actually leverage the trend that we are seeing, that there's a blockchain government spending increased 11 times since 2017, just in 4 years, with a 20% compound annual growth rate, and citizen digital identity being top second global trend. So imagine having blockchain-based governments, all that disconnection, all that repetition of government procedures doing the same things once and again, because government agencies don't cooperate within each other, they don't share processes, they don't share data. Imagine putting citizens in the center with a blockchain digital identity, a citizen identity, and then interconnect all your official documents as blockchain assets, using wallets as document holders. We can reduce costs, make online money for governments, increase trust because of blockchain foundational attributes, and increase security. And this is real. We have been implementing this in more than 30 different governments, currently with 12 paying customers. We have launched GovTech Hub to educate and sensibilize around the blockchain concepts and citizen identity concepts in Latin America. finding 36 more potential government customers at different levels. We have a contract with the presidency of Argentina to implement this as a first implementation at a national level to create new citizen digital identities to transact with governments. Imagine doing all your government procedures just once, having your birth certificates, your driver licenses, your construction permits, your commercial permits, every single official document just once and portable in your digital wallet. We have issued more than 10,000 blockchain assets today in more than 29 different implementations, impacting the lives of almost 1 million people. Raising funds from the Development Bank of Latin America, from UNICEF, from Ethereum Foundation, also cooperating with them, even making crypto revenues. So if you want to tap into this future and create the future of government, please drop me a line. We're looking for governments willing to implement, best if they are willing to pay. We are looking for an opportunity to do a soft landing in Europe, where the European Commission is spending a lot of budget around this and looking for funding advice. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So are there questions from the jury? Yes, we have one. Please go, Eva.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you for your presentation. But could you just describe in one sentence, so what does your platform do?
Yeah, it helps government provide digital services. And if I could add something in that, I will say citizen-centric digital services.
Okay, very good. And then we also have a question from Connor.
Okay, yeah, can you provide an example of the application of this for us?
Yeah, for example, with governments in Costa Rica, we have enabled them to provide commercial licenses and liquor licenses, liquor selling licenses, using blockchain assets. So you issue these credentials on the blockchain, and they receive a QR that it's outside the restaurant. And so city inspectors or even a citizen, they can scan the QR and see if the license is valid. So that empowers citizens, that empowers also government, and simplifies the process of having a business running.
Great. And if our moderator will permit me, can I sneak in a second one?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Impact. You had said 960,000 citizens impacted, but you didn't say how you impact them. So do you have any breakdown of how you impacted the 960K? Perhaps some access some services and other services. Tell us a little bit more about the impact of it, not just the numbers.
Definitely. It goes on the line of usage and of the public digital goods. For example, in Argentina, the very first implementation, it was subsidies delivery to artists. So we directly impacted 4,500 artists. Then with commercial permits, how many commercial licenses have been issued? How many people have scanned that QR, that licenses? Also, for example, from public lotteries where there's a lot of fraud, what we do is everyone that bought a lottery ticket and that was victim of a fraud, of a fake winner, now they have a blockchain digital credential that that it's tamper-proof, that it's fraud-proof. So you impact all the people playing that same public lottery game. So it comes from different sources and different flavors of impact. It can be artisan subsidies, it can be commercial permits, it can be construction permits, it can be urban development, it can be lottery winners. And if you sum up all of them, it's almost 1 million citizens in Latin America.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Do we have other questions from the jury? Okay, I'll throw in one here, one final one here, unless another one pops up. So very often when, hearing from projects that are based on blockchain, sometimes, of course, it's a very complicated technology to understand. And sometimes it becomes hard to distinguish, is there value that the blockchain is bringing to this particular solution specific to the blockchain technology, since it at times is solving issues that are solved by other technologies. Do you have a brief way of answering why blockchain? And I realize that you have many different applications for what you're doing, so there may be some that are stronger than others, but if you have one example or a brief way of saying why is blockchain helping over other technologies that exist?
Well, why do you think the European Commission is spending 150 billion euros to blockchain in public sector, right? They're known as trust machines. And it's because in comparison to traditional databases, blockchain works on a consensus base. So if you think of this consensus and if you think about those decentralized nodes that allocate information, it's impossible to hack data in this decentralized approach. If it's impossible to hack, it's tamper-proof, it's fraud-proof, then it's a trust machine, as it's known in the territory. So if you think about governments, what they lack the most is efficiency and trust. So there is a perfect match there.
Excellent. That's a great response. Okay, well, it looks like that's it for questions for the moment. And thank you so much for presenting this. It was very inspiring work that you're doing. All right, so this we have plenty of time here, and we can return back to our friend Patricia, who, you know, the internet demons cut her off at some point here. So now she can return, and maybe we can pick up where she left off answering Rudy's question about the responses to the questions that were coming in, and I believe that he had asked that it seemed there was a gap in responses versus the questions, if that's correct.
Yes, I heard the question of Rudy. Actually, on the application, the questions and answers are prepared by our team. So every question has its related answer right after it, and the notes and all the other details. While the questions and answers that relates to individual people sending us their legal issues, these are kept private, so they are not put to public, to be shown publicly. So all the questions, I'm not sure if this was the full question of Rudy, but all the questions and answers that we show on our application and on our website, both of them are complete. So which questions did he see that they were not answered? I'm not sure about that.
Mm. Yes, and you know, we're doing well on time. So Rudy, if you would like to respond as to whether that answered your question or any further clarification, we have time to address the question fully.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just, the same happened when I was evaluating the product. I just got into your site, and if I click, for example, in the first part that you have self-defense, I see a lot of topics, and it says a lot of votes, but 0 responses. So I'm not sure what is the 0 responses. What is that indication that it's 0 responses on each of the questions?
Is it did you search for the word, or this is how you cannot get 0 responses unless you have searched for a word that does not exist in the database?
I share my screen if I may, Mr. Moderator Carlos. Yes.
Yes, please.
I'm exactly at your website. Can you see the map what I'm sharing, right?
Yes.
So that's exactly what, I clicked on self-defense, and I have all these questions. Etc. Self-defense is justified, and then you have a lot of votes, but you have in responses 0. 0 responses. Do you see what I'm trying to?
Excuse me.
Yes.
You need to click on it. Click on the answer, please.
Okay. Just 1 second.
How did you get the information in English, sir?
Google is translated in automatically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if I go to that, yeah. Let me, so if I click here, you say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yeah, now it's not translating anymore, but so this is the way I navigated to your website.
I'm sorry. Mr. Ladaga, you have to sign in, log in to the website.
Okay.
This is how you will get all the answers, all of them. There is not a single question without an answer.
Okay. Okay. Then that's the thing that I'm missing. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Now let's move on to Connor's question.
Yeah.
Hello, Connor.
Hi, Patricia. Good to see you again.
Me too.
Unfortunately, I'm opting out of grading yours because we already have a history working together with an accelerator. But just to sort of reorient ourselves around the impact of your work, I'm curious, because you mentioned in your presentation, I think if I remember, 1,600 people that you've helped answer their questions. Can you help the jury, some of whom are sitting here with the grading sheet looking at impact, help the jury understand what does this mean that you answer somebody's legal question? Why does that help them get through their lives at all?
Of course, Connor. Thank you for your question. You see, during my presentation, I told you that the application allows a two-way communication, which means that we also listen to the problems of our users or legal questions in case they couldn't find the right answer with the data already provided. So through this feature, the Ask a Question feature, we are receiving constantly voice notes, or even text messages from people asking about various issues. Inheritance tax, divorce issues, custody problems. What we do, we bring this to our legal researchers. We do our own research, and sometimes we take the advice of Sharia compliant judges. We take advice of lawmakers. We have access to many legal consultants here in Lebanon. We formulate the answer about the right course of action for this user's issue. This is our impact. We are trying to guide people to the right course of action. We're trying to give them legal answers. We're sending some others to see specialty lawyers and people who are really specialized in their fields. We are also reporting abuse cases to the local authorities here. So we are doing a lot, especially under these circumstances now. So our impact is directly impacting people from our society through Easy Laws application. Did I answer your question, Connor?
Yep, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that response. Looks like we have one more question here from Eva. Eva, please ask away.
Thank you, Carlos. Patricia, thank you so much for your presentation. It's really impressive things you are doing. Then Lebanon, I just have one question because every work that you are doing, how is it financed? What is the business model behind your project? Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot for this question. Didn't have the chance to explain it all during my presentation. However, I gave you a hint. We are facing here in the country many problems, especially on the financial level. All our assets are frozen in the banks, which means that we cannot impose any payments through our application, even though that was the plan last year. We had several in-app purchases or features within our application that we will make people pay for it because it's time consuming and all this. But due to the financial situation, we had to postpone this. This is on the level of Easy Laws users, but Easy Laws had a bigger project. We were expanding to other Arab countries. Some of them are Qatar and the UAE. Our talks stopped in the middle due to the pandemic. We were in the middle of our talks with the Qatar Ministry of Justice, but unfortunately, everything, it's like it was playing against our will and wish. But for the time being, it's a totally personal investment into the application. We will keep on doing that. until God knows how long. But so far we have like a 2 years plan from now. We're covered, and in the meantime, hopefully everything will get back to normal, and we will find other way to fund our application.
Thank you for that response. Is this issue of the bank of the assets being frozen due to the infrastructure destruction, or what is it connected to that?
Okay. Last year, maybe 18 months ago, we had something called like a revolution going on in the country. So the government was suffering from years of mismanagement of our funds. This what led to a kind of Ponzi scheme being applied to our money. So once the funding or the inward of money stopped coming from outside to Lebanese banks, then the plan was exposed, and we found out that our money doesn't exist in banks anymore. So they are being turned into Lebanese. We had like USD deposits in the banks, and now they are turned into local currency, which has depreciated like 80%. So it's catastrophic. It's really catastrophic. I can talk like hours about it, and maybe I wouldn't give you the
well, that makes sense. Thank you. Thank you.
This project coming from Sri Lanka, from mmPro. Actually, yesterday it was supposed to have this project, but because of calendar issues, we are welcoming now our friend Smooth to listen to his mmPro project. The floor is yours, Smooth.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to meet you all, and thank you very much for me giving this opportunity to change the schedule and present it. So let me share my screen first. Hope you can see my slides.
Yes, we are. Please proceed.
Okay. Can you believe more than 50% of sand supply in our country is coming illegal? Sri Lanka is the pearl of Indian Ocean, is rich of minerals which are exported as well as used for the local construction industry. The illegal mining has caused a lot of damage to the environment, so the government decided to bring the regulation process through the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau. But the problem faced by the government is the sand mafia, which sell the transport license which costs just only $0.53 at a price of $15, which is a huge price. So the government at one instance canceled the transport license, but it created a lot of environmental damage and social economic problem. So they wanted a digital solution to achieve the sustainable development goals defined by United Nations. mmPro is a digital solution which can be accessed via web, mobile application, as well as SMS in all 3 local languages, which serve the purpose of all the stakeholders in mining industry for the transport license, including the license issuing officer, the mining license owner, and the transport provider. Not only the police officers, but all the general public and the environmentalists can check the validity of a transport mineral by simply sending an SMS. Not only that, the top management of the government can see a dashboard of the overall operation of the mining in the country. What's the cost of this solution? The old manual process of GSMB costs $0.28 per cube, which we have brought down to $0.086, which saved over $600,000 per year for the country. Meanwhile, this solution make an income of mmPro of $500,000 per annum. So we are a solution company which work into the future technologies. So we have already published more than 6 research papers and conducted 1 workshop for digitizing mining industry to the Sri Lanka. So what we are taking to the world, the social impact, we go green concept, no papers, no carbon, and we make the government transparency with real-time data, and we get the people contribution to protect the environment through the crowdsourcing. And we restrict the corruption by capturing all the check-ins by the government organization. And we bring the futuristic technologies to the technically unattained community so we can save time, effort, money with digitization. So our invitation to WSA, let's take our hands together to protect our Mother Nature. Thank you.
Thank you so much to be committed to the time and for the wonderful presentation.